Cold calling scripts, AI-generated templates. Cold calling still works, but lazy scripts don't. Cold calling isn't dead in 2025, it's just brutally honest. The average B2B cold call success rate, conversations to meetings, is about 2.3%, which means most teams are only booking a couple meetings per 100 real conversations. The good news is that top teams aren't accepting that baseline. With tighter targeting and better talk tracks, some have pushed meeting conversion as high as 10.01%. That gap isn't luck, and it's not just better reps. It's clearer ICPs, sharper openings, consistent coaching, and more disciplined testing, plus a smarter way to build scripts. AI-generated cold calling scripts are becoming the simplest lever to pull because they help teams produce more high-quality variations without burning hours on manual rewrites. If you're leading an SDR team, running a B2B sales agency, or deciding whether to use sales outsourcing or an outsourced sales team, the goal is the same: turn more connects into meetings without making calls feel robotic. In this guide, we'll show how to design AI-ready frameworks, prompt AI tools the right way, and roll out script variants that improve meetings and pipeline, not just sound good. Why scripts matter more when the math is this tight. Cold calling performance is constrained by simple funnel math, and most SDR orgs can't dial their way out of a script problem. Typical SDR teams see a cold call to meeting rate of 2 to 5%, while connect rates often land in the 15 to 25% range. So, a small improvement in what happens after hello has an outsized impact. When your opener is generic or your value prop is fuzzy, you're effectively wasting the small number of conversations you fought to earn. On top of that, sellers spend only about 25% of their time actively selling, which means your team is constantly context switching between research, admin, and message creation. AI helps reclaim that time by generating first drafts, variations, and objection responses faster, so reps spend more minutes in live conversations. In practice, this is why cold calling services and outbound sales agency teams that systematize scripting tend to scale results more predictably than teams that rely on tribal knowledge. What AI-generated scripts are and what they're not. AI-generated cold calling scripts are best understood as modular templates, not a memorized speech. You give an AI tool your ICP, persona, pains, trigger events, proof points, and tone guidelines, and it produces building blocks, openers, relevance lines, value props, discovery questions, objection handling snippets, and CTAs. The output becomes a framework SDRs can mix and match in real time, which keeps calls conversational while still benefiting from AI speed. They are not a replacement for SDR judgment, and they're not permission to skip research. Prospects can spot wordy, overly polite, buzzword-heavy copy instantly, and raw AI output often defaults to exactly that. If you copy-paste drafts straight into your dialer, you'll end up with robotic calls that sound like a landing page, not a person. AI is mainstream now, which is why the "should we use it" debate is mostly over. Roughly 56% of sales professionals use AI daily, and those who do are reported to be twice as likely to exceed targets. Gartner-cited data also suggests sellers who partner effectively with AI are 3.7 times more likely to meet quota. The competitive advantage isn't owning AI, it's operationalizing it with a real talk track, clean inputs, and measurement discipline. Build an AI-ready script framework your SDRs can actually use. Before you write prompts, define a consistent call flow that matches how real conversations work. A tight opener, a relevance hook, one clear outcome-based value prop, 1 to 2 discovery questions, a simple CTA, and short objection responses. This is where most teams go wrong. They ask AI to write a cold calling script and get a 300 to 500 word monologue that collapses on a live call. We've found the best frameworks feel more like a navigation map than a script, giving reps structure without forcing them to sound scripted. Use AI to personalize the first 15 seconds, not the entire call. Prospects decide quickly whether you're relevant, and personalization is proven leverage. Some research suggests personalized outreach can drive up to 6x higher transaction rates than generic messaging. Let AI propose an opener that references a role-specific trigger: hiring, tool change, funding, expansion. Then pivot into a battle-tested talk track so your SDR isn't managing a completely unique script on every dial. Garbage in, garbage out applies hard here, so feed the model real inputs: a tight ICP, your best performing call snippets, phrases that convert for your team, and the exact constraints you want: length, tone, banned buzzwords, and CTA style. Save a small set of prompts per persona, especially if you run a cold calling agency model, manage an SDR agency, or support multiple verticals, so you can consistently generate variations without reinventing the process every time. The result is a repeatable system for B2B cold calling scripts that scales with your team and your market coverage. AI should give your reps sharper building blocks, not a longer speech. Framework first, variations second, and human judgment always. Roll out AI templates with coaching, not copy-paste. The fastest way to ruin AI-generated templates is to deploy them without editing and enablement. Treat AI output like a first draft. Shorten sentences, strip jargon, tighten the CTA, and make sure it matches how your best cold callers actually talk. A simple review pass from a sales leader or your top-performing SDR usually turns polished AI copy into something that sounds like a confident, peer-to-peer conversation. Next, turn call recordings into a living script library. Summarize your best calls. Have AI extract the moments that consistently land: pattern interrupts, transition lines, objection responses, and organize those snippets by persona, industry, and objection type. When reps can search CFO manufacturing objection, already have a vendor, and get 3 short responses, they stop memorizing scripts and start adapting intelligently. Finally, integrate calling into a multi-channel cadence so the message stays consistent across phone, email, and LinkedIn. If you're already working with a cold email agency or running LinkedIn outreach services, AI can help harmonize language so the prospect hears the same story everywhere. In our experience, this one narrative across channels approach is what makes outsourced B2B sales programs feel cohesive rather than like disconnected touches from different teams. Avoid the common pitfalls that make AI scripts backfire. One universal script across every persona is a silent performance killer. A CFO in manufacturing and a RevOps leader in SaaS don't respond to the same pains, proof points, or language, and forcing one talk track makes reps bend the conversation unnaturally. The fix is straightforward. Separate frameworks by ICP and persona, then have AI generate variations within each bucket so relevance stays high without creating chaos. Another common mistake is letting AI remove improvisation from calls. When reps feel chained to a script, they stop listening, and prospects feel talked at instead of understood, especially in complex B2B sales cycles. Coach the script as a safety net. Mark optional lines, teach reps to skip ahead when they've earned interest, and emphasize that discovery questions matter more than perfect wording. Compliance and data privacy are the other landmines, particularly for teams doing telemarketing or regulated industry outreach. Don't put sensitive data like PHI or non-public financials into prompts, and define clear red lines for what can be used for personalization. If you use sales outsourcing, a sales development agency, or pay-per-appointment lead generation partners, align on these rules early so every cold calling team member personalizes within safe guardrails. Measure script performance by meetings and pipeline, not vibes. If you don't tag which script variant was used, you can't tell whether AI is helping or hurting. The discipline is simple. Log the opener/framework version on each call, or at least each call block, then review outcomes weekly. This replaces anecdote-driven debates with data, and it lets you prune underperformers fast while scaling what works across your SDRs or outsourced sales team. Run a 30-day pilot that mixes legacy scripts with AI frameworks, split by rep group or time blocks, and compare the results on the metrics above. The goal isn't to use AI more, it's to produce more pipeline with the same dial volume and less prep time. When you treat scripting like an experiment, AI becomes a multiplier for iteration speed instead of a source of random new copy. What to do next and where partners can accelerate outcomes. Start by mapping one standard framework for your primary ICP. Then create a small prompt library that generates variations by persona and industry. Once you have those variants, align them to a simple coaching plan. What good sounds like in the first 15 seconds, what questions must be asked, and what a clean CTA looks like. This is the fastest path to consistent B2B cold calling performance, whether you build in-house or plan to hire SDRs through an SDR agency. If you're evaluating cold calling companies, the bar to set is operational, not cosmetic. Can the partner prove they test scripts systematically, track outcomes by variant, and improve connect-to-meeting performance over time? That's why the best cold calling services feel like a process. List quality, talk tracks, coaching, and analytics working together, rather than a batch of cold callers dialing from a generic script. The same logic applies if you're comparing a B2B sales company, an outbound sales agency, or a broader sales agency offering sales outsourcing. At SalesHive, we've seen that AI works best when it's paired with structure and execution discipline. Since 2016, we've supported outbound programs by combining experienced SDR teams with an AI-powered platform, and our eMod personalization has helped customers see up to 3x higher response rates versus generic templates. Proof that personalization at scale can move real metrics when it's grounded in a clear framework. Whether you keep execution internal or outsource sales, the next step is the same. Build modular scripts, personalize what matters, test relentlessly, and let the data decide what stays.